Yes guys, what's going on? So prep is finally here. Week number 1, we are 23 weeks out. Today is Thursday, so we're 4 days in. And I thought it would be fitting for the first episode to just run you through a full day of eating on a training day and just to kind of go over what initial adjustments have been made to the plan since coming off, the tail end of the off season. So I'm going to take you through each meal today. There hasn't been like a major adjustment, not as big of an adjustment as I would have thought. I think we're around 850 calories down on the training day and around 300 calories down on a rest day. So not too much of a noticeable difference yet, to be honest. I do feel like obviously I'm not stuffed full all the time as I was before, but it has been a nice change just to kind of go back to eating 6 solid meals a day, as towards the end of my off season I was drinking like 2 shakes a day, like 2 cream of rice shakes. I was just blending 2 of my meals, whereas now I've kind of gone back to eating kind of solid meals of like oats that I have here, and that's obviously been nice because I think the shakes weren't really the best for my digestion. Obviously they're much easier to get in, but I was kind of like waking up in the morning after drinking a shake and feeling like my stomach was like a little bit off. So I think eating solid meals is a little bit of a better approach, but needs must when you are at the end of a certain phase. So before I go through this first meal with you, I'm going to go over the adjustments that have been made to pretty much everything. So we came off the back of the cruise. I thought I was running 300 mgs of test and 50 mgs of primo. Turns out I was running 225 test and 50 primo, as I miscalculated and I was actually missing like a shot a week. But look, it's all good. Bloods came back pretty decent and I will be reviewing those in the next video for you all. I was very, very happy with them, especially considering coming off like the heaviest, kind of the most aggressive blast that I have done so far, as you would probably have seen from my last video. So very pleased with how they're looking 6 weeks post that cycle, and not that it gives me more runway to push harder in the future, but it gives me a little bit more confidence that I'm kind of taking as good of an approach as I can to try and keep health as best as I possibly can, you know what I mean? So drugs have gone up from 300 test 50 primo or 225 test 50 primo to 450 test, 500 primo, 200 mast and 100 trend to start off. GH is still at 4 IU, T4 is still at 100 micrograms of a replacement dose. We have added in 20 mcg of Clen, which is actually a very small dose of Clen. That's the smallest dose of Clen I've actually ever taken, for longer than like a day or two to assess tolerance. But I have felt it already, waking up in the morning, taking the Clen, having my black coffee. I really felt the stimulatory effect, and I even feel mega productive doing my check-ins in the morning, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. And then the last addition was just 200 mcg of L-carnitine, so something I've never really taken before. I think L-carnitine just helps with mobilizing fatty acids so that they're available for oxidation, which is burning fat. And Atlantis has actually been kept in. So I would have taken this off camera, obviously, before I made this meal. So 10 IUs Atlantis down from 20. We still have Nova in pre and post workout at 5 IUs as well, just because, like I said, food is still pretty high on my training day. So those are the initial adjustments. My body weight has kind of been a little bit weird this week. First 2 days of prep, it actually went up, and then today it's dropped back down again, but I'm still 108.9, so I'm still 0.1 up from where I started on Monday at 108.8. But look, not too worried about the weight for the time being. I'm kind of more worried about the look and how the look kind of progresses over the next 2 or 3 weeks. I think coming off the very low amount of drugs and you're coming back on the higher drugs still with the higher food, I think I'm going to recomp quite nicely for the first couple of weeks, and probably with this initial 6 to 8 week block I'll get off the biggest chunk of body fat, as I probably will for the whole duration of the prep. So really looking forward to actually seeing what I look like over the next 8 weeks or so, to see the improvements that have been made during that last push-up, as I do believe it was my most successful one yet. Yeah, anyway, meal number 1 here, we've got 75 grams of oats, 20 grams of dark chalk, 50 grams of whey, and 150 grams of berries. So pretty standard. If you've watched my full days of eating before, this is pretty much what my meal 1 has been for the last 3 years. It's my last meal as well on my training day, on my rest day. So, it's just a good old reliable. It's pretty much a staple, bowl of oats. So yeah, that is it guys. I'll catch up with you in the next clip for my pre-workout meal. Alright guys, we are back. So meal number 2, this is our pre-workout meal, and we have got 125 grams of chicken, 150 grams of raw weight rice, and then 135 grams of banana. Just got 2 grams of pink salt in with this as well, but we have no sauce and no seasoning on the chicken, so pretty bland meal, but I actually quite like it. I really like the banana in with the rice, I must say. At the tail end of my off season, I had like 25 grams of honey in with this meal, and it was just unreal because like the honey and the rice, the banana, the chicken, it was kind of like sweet / savoury. I don't season the chicken obviously, because if I had like tandoori spice and banana, I think that'd be pretty fucking sick. So after I eat this meal, I am also going to prepare my intra-workout drink. I'm just going to tell you what it is now rather than actually show you. So it's just JP Sustain. I'm down from 70 grams to 50 grams. So that is the intra, just a couple of carbs during my workout. And then I'm also going to take my health subs with this meal as well, because I forgot to take it after my first meal because I was busy on client calls and work and shit like that. So yeah, going to eat this meal now, get changed to head out to the gym. Don't think I'll bring the camera to the gym today. I think I'll keep it just strictly meals, and then probably have like specific training videos throughout prep when I kind of run through my programming, as there has been a couple of adjustments to that as well. But yeah, I'm going to eat this meal now, and I will catch up with you post-workout. Alright guys, we are back in the building after training pull today. As you can see, I am heavily pumped up, looking semi-bodybuilder-esque, even though I'm feeling quite natty at the moment. Last week or so, my sessions haven't been the best. I think like when I first entered into the cruise and I dropped off that initial fatigue from like the drugs and everything else, like my performance just started to go through the roof. And I was taking like serious progressions across the board for like first 4 or 5 weeks of that cruise, and then as the drugs really started to dip, it started to catch up with me a little bit. So last kind of week or so, I've noticed that in my sessions I'm literally like just about maintaining my numbers, and not even in a good way, because the last rep is starting to get a little bit sloppy, just, you know, to actually not sacrifice that last rep, which isn't necessarily a good thing, to be honest. So I think, you know, waiting on the drugs to like kick back in, I may potentially just scale back on 1 or 2 exercises and like build my way back up, which I think is a sensible approach. But anyway, we've got post-workout meal here. It's going to be 150 grams of Rice Krispies, 150 grams of banana, and 50 grams of whey protein, alongside 5 IUs of Humalog, because I have no Nova, so I have Humalog instead. I haven't actually taken this, so I'm going to have to do that now. I'm going to have to edit this out because I can't put this on camera in case I get kicked off YouTube. Right, so the insulin is in. I can't imagine how much longer we're going to have this in. I'd say the next time he bumps my food down, he probably pull that insulin out, as I normally only have it in when my calories are like above 4,000, and they're only just above 4,000 now at the moment. So next adjustment will probably see that being pulled, and to be honest, that should probably shift a lot of water away. I normally drop around, you know, a kg, maybe a kg and a half once I pull out the Lantus and the Nova. So, you know, it'll be nice to kind of see that shift. I think as well with the Lantus, it kind of like holds a little bit of like inflammation, like gut or something. I always notice when I pull that out, my quarter turns, my check-in shots are like much tighter. So yeah, looking forward to that just being pulled and just being rid of that. It's like 3 less jabs a day on my training day as well, which is obviously, you know, a good thing, because fucking pinning yourself 8 to 10 times a day is just a little bit of a skag. But anyway, I'm going to pour this in now, wait for the old snap, crackle and pop. Oh, and you know what, a spoon would be handy. I did this on my last full day of eating as well. I don't know what it is about when I have to record, but it really does throw me off. What's happening, Keen?
What's up? I
want to say hello to the people on YouTube here. Keen is going to help me eat
unsubscribe from Darren's channel, subscribe to my channel. I'm way bigger.
Keen is going to help me eat my post-workout meal now, just so I don't have too many calories in me. But yeah, Keen, when's your YouTube come back? Get back in action.
I'm slacking.
Keen is going off Gallivant now, he's going to Mexico on his holidays and shit like that, so I'm sure there'll be a little bit of lifestyle content before he, or maybe not.
No, I don't even think I'll bring the camera to Mexico, because when I come back I just want to be recording, so take a proper break.
Yeah,
I'll do one off-season update, and then the first session of prep I'll record.
Yeah, so Keen's starting prep on at the end of April?
May 1st, really.
May 1st.
I'll come back from Mexico, have a week to kind of get things in order, do a bit of cardio, but then May 1st kind of.
Yeah, so stay tuned for Keen's rookie season. Boy, he's popping his competition prep cherry.
The first dance.
That should be interesting. I'll be shredded by the time he gets back. So
you already shredded.
Yeah.
Go on, see you later.
Right. So I'm going to neck this meal into me now, guys. I'm going to leave the macros for this meal up on the screen, and I'll leave the macros for the other meals up on the screen as well. I forgot to mention that earlier. I think another thing that I want to mention is in this whey, right, I have 250 ml of coconut milk. So
normally when I have my like post-workout, like there's not coconut milk in my plan, but I've always had coconut milk in since I started with Cuba, right? So very first like mini cut phase that I like ever did with them, you put my food down like way low, but something that always stayed consistent was the 250 mils of coconut milk in my post-workout cereal, right? Just because I just prefer it and it's nicer. So anytime we've made an initial adjustment and we've dropped my calories down, that has kind of like obviously bumped the carbs down massively. So I never really seen the need to like pull the coconut milk. And even at the moment as well, normally when I do mini cuts, like I never like cut down on my sauces. I just keep them the same. I just keep them consistent the way I always do. So for these first few weeks of prep, I'm just going to keep everything in as the way it was. I'm just going to let the initial adjustments do their thing. And then once I kind of get like halfway through prep and I'm starting to like really drop and stuff like that, I'm going to like eliminate the coconut milk from this cereal. I'm going to start like tracking my sauces and using like the exact same quantity all the time. And I'm just going to do like little smart things like that along the way to like bump my calories down again without me really noticing, if that makes sense. So for now, with the initial adjustments, obviously my calories are down, so I don't see the need to pull this. But obviously once we start getting into the depths of prep, I think it's just going to be something that like I will do just of my own accord eventually, just to shift things on a little bit further. So yeah, I'm going to leave that there, guys, and I will catch up with you for the next 3 meals. Yo people, what's happening? So meal number 4 here, we have got 100 grams of rice, we've got 175 grams of chicken and 75 grams of green beans. A little bit of sriracha sauce on here as well, and the seasoning on the chicken is the Nando's hot rub. Get on it if you haven't already. The garlic one was the best, but they were all sold out the other day, so I had to settle for the hot sauce. I also have a can of Fanta Zero here. One thing I'm going to aim to do with this prep is actually reduce my carbonated drink consumption, because towards the tail end of my last prep, I was like really doing the dog on like the caffeine and like the fizzy drinks. I think I was having like maybe 2 cans of Coke a day. I have a bottle of Pepsi Max in my lunch, you know, like the big like 500 or 700 ml bottles. And I drink like those 60-cent Tesco like flavoured waters as well. I go through like 1 or 2 of those a day, and I found it was just so much artificial sweeteners contained in all those, plus the flavour drops I was putting in like black tea as well, that my digestion was just like fucked. Not even my digestion was fucked, but like I wasn't like passing that much stool, because obviously I was eating fuck all food, but it was just like, it was really gassy constantly, and it kind of really affected how I felt. So I'm going to try and limit it to like 1-2 cans like max. I like the Fantas in like the evening time. I know it's not really the evening time now, it's only like 3:30, but I try to like curb my caffeine consumption past like 11:30, 12 in the morning, just because it helps with my sleep, and my sleep is notoriously poor. So put the macros for this meal up on the screen, and the next meal is pretty similar as well. It's just the exact same thing, but with mince instead of chicken. The chicken rice meals honestly just digest so well for me. I think I haven't actually eaten anything other than rice for the last 18 months maybe on my plan. It's like literally just been all rice. I think once prep progresses and I get into like the tail end of it and my hunger is quite high, I'd swap back to like potato. But when I'm in my off season and the food is obviously quite high, it's normally like 3 rice meals a day, because it just sits really well for me. When I'm looking to be like a little bit more satiated, I'll swap back into potato, because, you know, 100 grams of rice is like, you know, a decent amount of rice. But if you were to have the same, you know, 80 grams of carb work from potato, that would be like a shit ton of potato. So potato is a very useful tool as you kind of, you know, are entering the last 2 stages of a diet and your hunger is going through the roof. But when your food is high, as mine currently is at the moment, rice is honestly your best friend. So yeah, I will eat this meal now and catch up with you and just show you my next meal in a couple of hours, 2-3 hours. I know you're probably thinking, if you're watching this video, this cunt has not left this table all day, but I just wanted this video to be about the food. Obviously I have been doing other things throughout the day, but I will make the next vlog, or probably the vlog after that, a little bit more vloggy. Alright guys, so next meal we have got 100 grams of rice, 175 grams of mince, 75 grams of green beans, and a little splash of Heinz original barbecue sauce. My favourite, if you follow this channel. Probably something I'm gonna, you know, have to cut down on as we get through prep. You know, I didn't track this, I just had the same like squirt I always have. Probably will start tracking it in another couple of weeks time, but like I said, anything that has been kept consistent now, I'm just going to keep consistent for another couple of weeks, you know. So I will get this meal into me now. I'll catch up with you later on for my very last meal, which I believe is like the exact same as my first meal. So yeah, not a very interesting full day of eating, but I will try to think of something valuable to say later on when I catch up with you for that last meal. Alright guys, so final meal of the day. It's actually not the same as my first meal. It's my rest day where my first and last meal are the same. So we've got 120 grams of cream of rice here, 45 grams of whey and 150 grams of berries. So currently on the cookies and cream JP cream rice, honestly banging, probably the best flavour out of them all, and I have tried them all. This is the first time I tried it this week, as before I was just like using it in my shakes and just like blending it up. So it's actually nice to have like solid cream of rice again. I actually love cream of rice. I know there's a lot of people who really don't like it, but honestly, especially when they get towards the end of the prep, eating a big bowl of cream of rice is going to be like dessert for me. So I'm going to put the total macros and calories on the screen there now. I believe it's somewhere roughly around like 4,200 calories, like 260 protein, maybe 650 carb, and like 45 fat or something like that. I'm probably like way off, but anyway, it is what it is. What do you have for your last meal, Chloe? Let's see what Chloe has. What do you have, Chloe?
Not today.
Chloe's having eggs for her last meal. Just eggs, just like 2 whole eggs, 2 egg whites.
Because I'm too lazy.
She's lazy, yeah. She gets mad at me the whole time because like she tells me to make her meals for her, and I always get them wrong, even though I'm her coach and I actually give her meal plan. So
yeah, make me my mince and veg. Don't put it in with the rice.
yeah, I removed her rice in last week's check-in, and then I made her mince and veg last night, and I put it in a lunchbox with rice. And last night she wasn't impressed, and she went to the door from home. I had to get the fork, and I had to like scoop out all the little bits of mince and green beans into like
you want
the
something
spare
done
bowl.
right? Do it yourself.
Exactly, that's what I always say. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much full day of eating wrapped up. I probably will not do another one of these until I'm like, I don't know, 2 weeks out or something, like before I actually start my peak. Yeah, I'll do like, this is like start of my prep. I'm doing the full day of eating, and then I'm going to do another one at like the end of prep.
Full days of eating are the best videos.
Yeah, I know they're the best, but I've done like 5 of them on my channel so far, so you know.
Yeah, but give the people what they want.
Give the people what they want. You heard it here first, lads. Well, if you want to see a full day of eating halfway through the prep, then just comment down below and let me know. But yeah, next video, as I probably mentioned in this video already, is going to be the blood work video. So I was like super happy with my blood results off the back of like, you know, my heaviest push-up ever. So I will run over that now in the next video in depth, and then from there we'll probably just start with a little bit of training, guys, and I'll take you through, you know, how I go through like legs, push, pull in the gym, and kind of some pointers on training, as I haven't kind of done anything more educational along those lines in quite some time. So thanks for watching. Like the video if you haven't already, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you
in the next one.
In the next one.